Hello everybody out there, and welcome to another episode of the Talk That Talk Show with me, Barry Holmes. Like I said, we're here for our 90th episode of the Talk That Talk Show. We got big things in store for you tonight. Shout out to Kevin Kovarski on our Instagram live stream. Shout out to God Bless, Zach House, Stephanie Cabrera, and also the people on our Facebook live stream. But I'm super excited to be here today. Like I said, we're here in our 90th episode, and to say that, we've now eclipsed 10,000 downloads. We officially eclipsed 10,000 downloads. Like I said, we've been streamed in over I think it was like over 1,000 different cities, and I think it was something like, over 300 different countries. So to get to that point, like I said, I want to thank everybody that continues to tune into this show live, whether it be Facebook or Instagram Live. You guys are the reason why I'm able to reach thousands of different people in different states and countries and give them a chance at this Talk That Talk show. To be able to be here from where it just started to where, we made long sleeves of the first shirt that I ever made, and, we're pretty close to selling those out too. So, it's been a long road, but it's also been a road that, I've definitely had to take some chances on too. We've had a whole bunch of different guests here on the show. We've taken some chances with some different topics, but, at the end of the day, when you're trying to create a quality product and you're trying to create something that'll stand the test of time, you gotta be able to, not be afraid to take risks. And, one of the things that I actually had, I had Chinese today, and, I always take a look at the fortune cookie sometimes. But one of the things that it said was, fortune sides with him who dares. And I think that was so appropriate for me here, and especially with this show, because, at the end of the day, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So when you come into this, excuse my French, but, not giving a fuck what people think, it's a very strong message, and it's something that I hang my hat on. And I think it's the reason why people are proud to wear this Talk That Talk Show shirt, because at the end of the day, this isn't just a logo, this isn't just merch, this isn't even just a podcast. With the support that you guys give me each and every week, and the people that want to come on this show and showcase who they are, that's the reason why this is a movement. And I thank you all for being a part of this movement each and every week. And that's how we've been able to get to 10,000 downloads and beyond. So, like I said, I got a big time episode lined up for you. If you guys are fight fans, you're going to be really in for a treat here. I got two amazing guys that are going to come on here and talk about some of their experiences. So, definitely fasten your seatbelts, because it's going to be a nice ride for us today on the Talk That Talk Show. Before I get into it, I want to thank our sponsors. Shout out to VW Liquors, located in Wick Plaza, Edison, New Jersey. Guys, we are a show based out of Edison, New Jersey. We got a lot of people that watch this show from Edison, and a lot of people don't even take into account the discount. All right, you go into VW Liquors and tell them you watch that Talk Show, you get a 10% discount, all right? So please, I go there for a good reason, because it's the best area in town. Please, hit them up over at VW Liquors. Also want to give a shout out to Air We Are. They got the best heating and air conditioning needs in the South Side. Hit up my boy Jeff over there. He's doing big things. Also want to give a shout out to 13 and a Half Clothing Company. My boy Angelo. He's got an impressive line. He started from the ground up and straight from the South Side of Edison. So, you got to support local businesses there. Also want to give a big shout out to my man Savion Gaynor over at Skydive Socks. He's making custom stuff that's absolutely killing the game. If you want some custom threads, please hit him up over there. Also want to give a shout out to my boy at 91s.com. Cody Brownlee's got some of the best acid wash apparel in the game. And then finally, want to hit up Joe Snow and Maria over at New York Life, helping people to get their financial freedom every single day. I know we're getting some extra money here, and, got some of those stimuluses coming up. If you want to find a great way to invest that or get yourself some residual income, hit them up over there at New York Life, and they'll help you put you on a path towards you want to go. And then finally, got to hit up my boy Timmy Hugo over at Parlor, who's helping me put together some incredible threads through this Talk That Talk Show. hopefully we will be able to rock out with some re-releases of the hoodies soon. So you're definitely gonna want to stay tuned. My boy Jeff said, "Oofs, Rocky's cotton candy." If you guys already know, I'm a huge fan of the hats. So I had to break out my cotton candy, which came in today. So I'm a Mets fan as always, but I saw this Rocky's color combination. I was like, yo, take my money, Hat Club, take it. But without further ado, guys, I'm all about highlighting people that are from this town. I love this place where I live in Edison, New Jersey. I think that we got amazing people that come out of here, great thinkers, great doers, most importantly. But, I definitely want to thank this person for coming here on the show. Also, big shout out to Kevin Rosa for linking us up, for putting this together, man. It also means a lot when you have your friends that are thinking in your better interest and try and help you progress through, too. So, big shout out to Kevin Rosa. But without further ado, I got a hometown hero here. He's a local boxer, definitely a real good guy that you're going to want to know here and talk to. So please, everyone, put your drink up and give us a big warm welcome for my boy Kevin Barry Coleman. What's up, Kev? How you doing, man?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm feeling good, bro. There's your mic right there. But so for everybody out there that doesn't know, who is Kevin Barry Coleman, man?
Well, I'm originally from Metuchen.
Okay, originally from Metuchen.
I got a lot of boys are from Edison, so. But I'm 23 years old. I enjoy the sport of boxing, and what it has to offer.
Yeah.
Too. So that's just about me. I'm 23 from Metuchen. A lot of my boys are from Edison. Also saying I'm from Edison. A lot of people give me crap. They're like, yo, you're not from Edison, but I love Edison, man. I got a lot of people in Edison.
Hey, Kev, let's put it this way. You're a good dude, so we take you in as the Edison, man.
Yeah,
But,
okay. I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that a lot.
But no, Pete, real quick, I know that you're a big-time boxer, right? So, kind of tell us how you got into boxing and, how you kind of got that love for boxing.
Well, ever since I was like a little kid, and I come from a big family and whatnot. I come from a family of fighters. My dad fought, and growing up, whenever there's a big fight on TV, we'll always watch we'll order the pay-per-view, order the fight, watch the fight, and I always thought it was interesting. But my biggest love at first was actually wrestling.
Really?
So I really enjoyed wrestling. My mom put me in wrestling when I was in second grade, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrestled from second grade all the way throughout high school, and I wrestled. I was a good wrestler. And then my dad, he was a fighter himself, so kind of just like growing up, he just showed a couple of things and whatnot. But the way I got into boxing is I was actually living up in Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay, shout out to Providence.
Providence, Rhode Island, 401.
Okay, the 401.
So the way I got into it, I was living up there, and I was like, man, like, I'm not competing in wrestling, I want to compete, So I was like, I went on my Google, and I was like, boxing gyms near me, right? A whole bunch of boxing gyms came down, and I just picked the first one. And, shout out to Big Six Boxing, Providence, out there at Douglas Avenue.
Yes.
So what happened was, I saw boxing gyms near me, looked it up, how far was it? It was like 1.5 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
So that day, I just went in there with a bag, and I walked in. And they're like, oh, what's up? And I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to, learn how to box, sign up and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I ended up doing that. So that's basically how I got into boxing. Just one day I was like, you know what, I want to box.
Wow, and I'm glad you took that first step, man. And I guess for me, like we just talked about, you gotta that success or fortune comes to those who dare, right? So like what was it that I think really propelled you to just get into that gym? That was like, what, this is the day where I'm gonna hit that boxing gym.
Well, kind of just growing up, I see like. Before I even started boxing, I was a big fan of boxing. Mm-hmm. And I saw those dudes on TV and just the way they moved and the way they threw their punch. I just kind of thought it was really cool, growing up watching all these great fighters. And I just kind of just wanted to be like them, kind of, I just want to know how it felt to be in that gym,
Facts. Now, we also see, is that, like, there's been this big surge of MMA, and, like, this is a very, highlighted sport and very popular now. So, like, what kind of was this deciding factor for you, and where it's like, I want to go to boxing as opposed to MMA, or did you ever think to maybe go into MMA?
Yeah, I've thought about it, and like right now, like today, like I train with a lot of MMA guys, a lot of top-notch MMA guys coming out of New Jersey, like pros, high class, amateurs, and I do that. And the reason why I chose boxing was kind of because it's like my father, for instance, he was a good boxer, and he was from Ireland. So I was like, you know what? He boxed. I want to box. You know what I mean? So
got that Irish boxing style.
That's what I wanted to do, So instead of me saying, hey, we go to MMA, I was like, let me do boxing first, get my hands right before I even do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. And I think that another thing too is like, especially when we play basketball, I go to different states and you play and you see that there's different styles, right? You go down south and it's more of a slower paced game, but here in the East Coast it's faster paced. Do you see that there was, from you training in Providence and then also training here in Jersey, was there a big difference as far as the style of boxing?
Not necessarily, it depends sometimes. Like, for instance, up in Providence, the gym I went to, again, shout out to Big Six, man.
Big Six.
Best gym in New England, Big Six boxing, Over there, it's a small gym, but the best fighters all around come from that small gym, It's like, it's just a ring and a couple bags,
Facts.
So, it all depends, In the sport of boxing, there is like different things. Like you got someone that could be a lefty, something who could be a righty. But from moving back from Providence to Jersey, it was kind of what gym am I going to train at now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, and then I just had to, I looked up boxing gyms near me when I got back to Jersey, and I saw New Brunswick had a boxing gym, so I started going there for a little bit.
Now, I guess like when you got into the gym, now you've been training for a while, right? Like, what was the process, or how did it get to where you kind of got yourself into like an amateur fighter? You got into those fights.
Well, I got a funny story then.
All right, let's hear this. So we love funny stories here.
So, living up in Providence, right? I was 19 years old, and I was living with my buddies up there, and believe it or not, I was only 2 weeks into boxing.
Okay.
Before I got my first fight.
Wow, 2 weeks, sheesh, man.
2 weeks into boxing, and usually it takes. It's usually a little bit longer. You got to train. Some guys have to train for like a year or whatever before they get an amateur fight. But my trainer up there, Paul Shorts, aka Stingray.
Okay, shout out to Stingray.
And he was like, my first day of sparring was like 3 days into the gym, and he was like, "You're a natural counterpuncher, man. You're a natural counterpuncher." And I was like, I'm new to this, so, I don't really know. I was like, all right. So 2 weeks go by, I wake up one morning. I'm eating, for those that know me, I love strawberry donuts.
Strawberry donuts? That's the key here.
Strawberry donuts, right?
Okay.
Strawberry donuts. I can house down 10 strawberry donuts in one sitting.
Damn,
no problem.
10, bro?
So I'm sitting there, I'm with my buddy, and we're sitting there, I'm eating, countless amounts of strawberry donuts, right? Meanwhile, I'm only 2 weeks into boxing, and I get a phone call. It's my trainer, Stingray. I'm like, yo, what's up, Sting? He's like, hey, yo, we got you a fight. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, in my head, I'm thinking like a month, 2 from now. I was like, all right, when? He goes, tonight.
Oh, shit. And you just housed like, what, 10 donuts, man?
A couple donuts and a couple beers.
Oh, my gosh.
A couple beers the night before, too,
Oh, man.
So I was like, in my head, I'm like, damn, tonight, man. I was like, all right. I was like, all right.
Tonight.
I was like, all right, where at? He goes, don't worry, where at? He's like, be at the gym in 3 hours. So I met him at the gym. I met him at Big Six at the gym, like, a few hours after the phone call, and I had to make weight. I was fighting at 165. And I was like weighing like 167. Meanwhile, I didn't know I was fighting, I was only 2 weeks into boxing,
Yeah.
So now I'm also, not only am I overweight, my nerves are high, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've wrestled over, hundreds of matches, but now it's like, this is a boxing fight, so I had to make weight. I made the weight no problem. But then we're driving up to, the fight was in Bridgewater, Massachusetts.
Okay.
We're driving from Providence to Bridgewater. It's about an hour drive. And meanwhile, while we're driving, I'm like, I'm only 2 weeks into boxing. Am I ready to fight, man?
You starting to sweat a little bit.
I'm sweating a little bit. I'm starting to get some butterflies in my system and whatnot. And I'm like, damn, now I'm kind of scared, I'm kind of scared. But, it all worked out. So I go to the show and, weigh in. I see my opponent, and then we just fought and I won the fight.
Hey, there you go.
I won the fight.
On short notice at that, too, man. That's huge, bro.
I won the fight, yeah.
But I guess, like, now that you've, had a couple fights under your belt and you've kind of wiggled off that rust a little bit, would you say is, like, your mentality when you go into a fight? Like, where's your mind at, like, right before you're about to step in that ring?
Well, now, since I've been fighting for a few years, my mind is just like I'm gonna go after it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because with not just boxing and all combat sports, it's not just a physical thing. It's all mental as well. So my first my first fight, for instance, I was scared. I wasn't scared of the person, but I'm very competitive, and I was scared to lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't take losing too well, but now the fighter that I am now, it's either you win or you learn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my mentality going into a fight now is just just go out there and have fun.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And have also one thing is have no fear as well. You know what I mean? So
For sure.
no fear.
And I think that that's a great thing to have, because when you come through with no fear, you're able to give your best version of yourself, man.
Yeah.
And I think that it's cool that you talked a little bit about your Irish roots and the Irish heritage and kind of like how you got into boxing. So I know there's Mickey Ward out there. He's one of the toughest as they come. I know they had the movie on him, but besides for Mickey, is there any like people outside of him or your father that been big boxing influences on you?
I would probably, besides watching the fights growing up and watching all those big guys, I would probably say Mike Tyson. I like the Mike Tyson story. How
Facts.
he dealt with adversity and whatnot, and he was just a troubled teenager and got in the sport of boxing, and that's the one thing too, like what combat sports have to offer. It saves people. You know what I mean? So I would say Mike Tyson definitely influenced me. I like his style, just going in there and brawling it out. Yeah.
Now, I know with you as a big boxing aficionado and somebody that definitely, practices it and, fights as well, I'm sure you're, like you said, a big fan of seeing these big fights and these big guys out there. And I know one of the biggest, boxing fights that we have to look forward to is that Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury fight. So off the rip right now, if we got to ask you, who are you taking, Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua?
I think it's a good fight, but I'm gonna go with Tyson Fury.
Oh, okay. Can you say why?
I'm gonna go with Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury in going into the Deontay Wilder fight, for instance. Deontay Wilder being a really powerful puncher, that that one hitter quitter knockout punch. The way Tyson Fury, he took that knockdown in the 12th round, no one thought he was gonna get up. You know what I mean? He got up. And before that knockdown, he controlled the whole fight. And for a heavyweight, for someone that weighs, 260-something pounds, man, he moves like someone that's like 130 pounds.
Oh, yeah. His footwork is there, man.
And no, I'm not even knocking Anthony Joshua. I think he's a good fighter. But you see, like, the one fight that he fought Andy Ruiz, he went to deep waters.
Yeah, vulnerable. Very vulnerable.
And he ended up, paying the price for it. And I think Tyson Fury's got the boxing skill set to really outbox Anthony Joshua. And people think Tyson Fury doesn't even have power, but Tyson Fury actually does have power. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, too. Like, they talk about his jaw because, like you said, for him to get up for one of those Deontay Wilder shots, I mean, I think that was kind of like what they correlated with Dustin Poirier, how he took that first shot from Conor. He kind of got confidence from that. So, I think that Tyson Fury is one of those guys that, when he gets hit, it's almost like he gets stronger,
Yeah, just like that, basically. Like, even with that Dustin Poirier shot, like, sometimes when you get hit in a fight, it wakes you up. You know what I mean? There was one fight, it was the finals of, it was up in Massachusetts again. It was for the Rocky Marciano belt, right? I fought this big kid.
Wow.
And it was the first round, and he hit me with a hard shot.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? I'm like, and when he hit me with it, I was like, damn, that shit hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I took a step back after he hit me, and I was like, that kid hits fucking hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, it woke me up, though. I was like, all right, I'm in a fight. So now I got to dog it out, and I got to fight, basically.
Facts. And that let's put it this way, Mike Tyson, one of your guys, Mike Tyson, he always says that everybody has a plan till they get hit in the face. You know what I'm saying?
True, right?
So, like, how much real game planning do you do when it comes into a fight? Like, are you looking at a guy's like tape and seeing what his tendencies are? Or are you just training base wise?
So, the difference between pros and amateurs, right? When you're like certain pros, like who you're gonna fight, a couple months prior. Amateurs going to the show, most of the time you don't know who you're gonna fight.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Especially in boxing, MMA, like you'll know who you're fighting, like a couple weeks before sometimes. But in boxing, you don't know who you're fighting.
Yeah. You
just go there, you weigh in. Whoever weighs in next to you, you're like, I'm fighting. And you don't know anything about him. You know what I mean?
Damn.
You don't know if he's a righty or a lefty. Most fighters are righties, but some can fight both.
Yeah.
So going into the fight, the way I train for, I'm training, getting ready for the fight and whatnot, and then whatever he brings at me, I'm going to have to adapt to it,
Yeah. And I think that adaptability is what, has gotten you some success there, because I think that, a lot of times when you have certain boxers, they always talk about, boxing styles and how well they match up and stuff. And if you're able to, adapt well, obviously then you can fight anybody. So is there any, like, fight in your mind that, like, sticks out that was, like, one of your favorites, and for what reason?
I have a lot of fights that sticks out, but you know what? I'm going to say a really, I remember watching this fight live. It was, an Irish guy. His name's John Duddy.
Okay, John Duddy.
And he fought a really tough Mexican fighter. His name is Dory Boy Campas. And that fight always stuck out to me, and it still sticks out to me today. I watch the fight on YouTube, at least once a month. And going into the fight, John Duddy, he only had about 20-something fights, but he was like 23-0 at the time, 24, 25-0, and he was fighting a dude that had 90-something wins under his belt. You know what I mean? So this was like a really big testing fight for him. And in the beginning rounds, he was getting chipped up a little bit, But in the later rounds, he started to grow. He came back and ended up winning the fight. You know what I mean?
So he came back on him.
He came back and won the fight. But it just wasn't a fight where, like, boom, boom, move out the way. It was like a fight, like, put your hands up, I put my hands up, and we're just going to bang it out.
Yeah.
So I saw that, and I was like, that fight's cool, That's my favorite fight, and I like watching that fight to this day.
Hey,
it's on YouTube. Definitely check it out if you got the time.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I think that's dope that you have those type of fights that you're able to come back to and pretty much relive multiple times. But I think that one thing that I definitely wanted to ask you, with you having your boxing background, when you get older, obviously we're gonna want to have kids, and we're gonna have that point. So when that point comes, is that going to be something that you kind of like try and get your kids into, or you're encouraging them to box, or is that something that you're going to try and steer them towards other sports?
I mean, I would like to have my kids box, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't push it on them, because there's one thing, just not with boxing, just combat sports in general. It's not a nice sport, It's not fun getting punched in the face, kicked in the head, or getting choked out or something like that. So, but the one thing for me is that. Not just boxing taught me a lot in the ring. It's taught me a lot outside. You know what I mean? And same with wrestling as well. Anyone that wrestled out there or had boxing or whatnot, it doesn't just teach you about the sport. It teaches you discipline. Have confidence and whatnot. So I wouldn't mind having my kids, end up boxing or doing wrestling. It would make me happy. But if they don't want to do it, they don't got to do it. But I mean, maybe they won't have a choice. We'll see.
Hey, that's all good, man. Hey, at least you're giving them a fair shot. But it's definitely good to have you on here, Kev. And I'm let's put it this way, I'm happy to just share this space with you. And, talk boxing, and I can see that you do have a love for this sport, man. And that goes a long way, especially when they talk about the desire and the will of fighters. And I think that as long as you still have that desire and you have that will, you fight for as long as you want to, man. So. My question to you, in closing before we, transition, is that, for any of those young fighters out there that are looking to try and get in the ring, or if they're looking up to you and say, hey, I want to be like Barry Coleman, what type of advice can you give them, or to those young fighters that are trying to get in the ring?
Well, I would say definitely do it, It's good to know. But my advice will be don't get discouraged. You know what I mean? Because I won't even lie, I won't even front. I got discouraged a few times, And I had a fear when I first started boxing that I was afraid to lose, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, everybody is, right?
But it's not that I was just afraid of losing. I was afraid what other people would think. You know what I mean? So there would be some fights where, I get a little bit of stage fright if people are watching me fight, you know what I mean? Because I just, not only do I want to lose, I don't want to look stupid,
Yeah.
So, don't get discouraged and, go out there and just have fun, learn the science behind boxing. It's always cool to know, and just, block out the haters too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always going to be someone, knocking you know what I mean? So just, don't get discouraged, train hard, and just get after it, that's all.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Kev, for giving some words of advice to our people out there. And I think that if anybody can learn anything, they can learn that you put enough effort in there and you put enough of your heart into it, great results are going to come out of that. So once again, thank you so much for coming on here, Kev.
And I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you for having me. You know, again, shout out to Big Six Boxing. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have ever got into boxing. You know, they opened me open arms. Also, shout out to Lionheart Boxing. You know,
Oof, big time.
Yeah, my coach now. You know, he's really helped me out, Coach Ash. So shout out to them as well.
Okay, yeah. Is any type of plugs or any social media handles or anything you want to give the people out there?
Yeah, follow me. My personal account, Kevin Barry Coleman, and then follow me at Shoot the Breeze. It's a boxing fan page. You know, promote fights. You know, and really hype it up a little bit. Shoot the Breeze and Kevin Barry Coleman.
Hey, so then I think you brought somebody else here with you. So you can give us a little bit of a background on who you got here.
Yeah, I brought my buddy Eric Nolan. You know, aka Nighttime Nolan.
That's his name
right there. Eric Nighttime Nolan. You know, he's been a very close buddy of mine. You know, we met each other from wrestling actually.
Okay.
And we got close and stuff like that. He's actually, he's fighting MMA now. He's got a big fight coming up. You know, we're in the gym together too. You know, we're best friends, but
sparring partners.
when we spar, we're not friends. I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's my boy, and he's here today too. So he's gonna tell you a little about himself too.
All right, dope, man. So once again, thank you so much for coming on here, Kev.
Thank you so much, guys.
Hell yeah, and we'll have you on back at the end of the show. But I guess it's time to bring on Nighttime, right? Here we go.
Nighttime.
All right, so here we go. Give it up, guys, for Nighttime, Chris Nolan. What's up, my guy?
What's up, man?
How you feeling
Thanks
today,
for having
man?
me. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm doing good too, man. I'm glad to have you on here, bro. So I know you gave us a little bit of a background on you, but can you tell the people out there who is Chris Nolan?
Eric.
Oh, I'm sorry. Damn it, Eric Nolan. It must have been those shots that Mickey gave us beforehand, right? So what's up, Eric? Tell me.
What's up, man? I was born and raised in Edison, New Jersey. You know,
awesome.
Just like you. After high school, I joined the Marine Corps as an infantryman, and how my fighting career started is through there. Like, I found a big love for it. I saw Kevin boxing at home, and I was jealous. I was like, oh, man, I should be there with him. Like, I should be there training with him. Like, that's my boy. That's my best friend. And that's how I started fighting. You know, I got out. I go to Monmouth University now.
Dope,
so
man.
I'm starting school, too.
And that's crazy to be doing school and fighting too, man.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro. I mean, let's put it this way: that takes an extreme amount of dedication, bros. But I know we talked a little bit about how he got started with boxing, and you talked a little bit about how you were in the Marine Corps and it really got you into MMA. But how much really do you still take from what you learned in the Marine Corps when you transition that into the MMA?
It's kind of like a life thing, like I wrestled in high school. I didn't do everything I wanted to accomplish. I always had that like a little bit of regret, like what if I trained harder? Like, what if I kept going? And when I was in the Marines, all you do is train. You train for that big fight, and for me it didn't happen, God bless, but I was like, you know what? I'm so young. I'm so athletic now. Like, I'm feeling myself. I grew into my body. I was like, I got to fight.
Yeah.
I got to shoot for the stars, land on the moon type thing.
Yeah.
And that's where it all started. And seeing Kevin start boxing, like, I remember I came home from the Marines, and instead of spending time with my family, I drove up all the way to Rhode Island and watched him box.
Wow. That's a real friend right there, man.
I drove all the way up there. I watched him box, and I was like, I got to do this.
You got ish that says Eric is built like a tank. So, so I guess he says still built, man. But
the crazy thing is, when I was in high school, I was a skinny little twig, man. I was a skinny little twig. Everybody was like, oh yeah, like Eric Nolan, like, And part of that, I was like, I got to be better than what these people think, I got to keep going.
Well, shit. I mean, you're 4-0 right now. So can you talk a little bit about like, how you kind of got to 4-0, and how does it feel to be undefeated in the MMA right now, man?
I'm nowhere where I want to be. I'm nowhere even close to where I want to be. Like, even, like, the record's 4-0. It's great. Like, right now I'm ranked number 1 in New Jersey.
Wow.
It's great, but...
Big time, man. Come on, man.
Like, I try not to pay attention to it. I got a lot of people that support me, and a lot of people, especially in Edison, that they want me to make it.
Facts.
They don't want me to be that Edison kid that fell short.
Yeah.
But then again, there's a lot of people out there that they want to see you lose.
Oh, yeah.
That's the biggest thing in fighting is they want to see you lose.
Yeah. I could totally dig that because, I'm sure there's a lot of people that support this show, but, there's also some people that are still waiting for us to not have an episode that week. So, I totally feel you on that. But, when you're able to push through, I'm sure that success that you have when they raise that hand for you makes it all that worth it, But, you're definitely fighting here for a championship title coming up. So can you talk a little bit about, that and, when's that going to be?
So it's kind of a new thing. I went down to Miami to train with one of my buddies, Richie Lewis. Shout out to him. He's fighting soon, March 28th. That's
Shout out to Richie Lewis.
I was down there training, and then I got a call, as I was about to come home, and they're like, hey, we got a title fight for you in CFFC. It's still an amateur fight, but I'm looking to break that amateur, level. I'm trying to go pro. That's, I want to be the best of the best.
Oh, yeah.
So this title fight's that next step for me. So training, Kevin hasn't been in the gym in a little bit, but I know he's going to come back for me.
Oh, yeah. There you go. And it's cool when you have those, friends that are able to push you and get you to the place that you need to go, man. So, I know you guys talked about, the sparring that you had done, but can you talk about what that means to you to have someone that you're so close to that you spar with and you can get productive, reps out of?
I mean, to me, it means everything, because sparring's weird. It's very weird. You're going against a guy, you're punching him in the face, and it's sometimes you go too hard, sometimes you go too light, and you got to find that medium. But with Kevin, I know days I could be all right, bro, this is it. Yeah. I remember the first time I had my hard sparring day. It was me and Kevin last round, and I remember he cracked me. And then I cracked him, and at the end of the round, we were both spinning
woozy
around.
And shit.
And my coach was sitting there, he was that would have sold tickets pay-per-view.
Facts.
So, but no, it really does mean a lot that I have Kevin in my corner, especially.
And that's huge, bro. I know Kevin talked about he got to corner one of your fights one time too. So when you're in the ring, and I know I asked this to Kev, and we all know all fighters are different, but when you step in that MMA ring, and they close that cage, what's going through your mind and what's your mentality when they shut those doors?
Oh, that's another tough. It all becomes a blur at first, but then when you're in when I enter, I'm so nervous walking into that cage. Walking in, it's where my stomach is. I feel like it's gonna blow up. When the cage shuts and the referee are you ready? It's just lights out. I'm ready to go. I'm so focused. I'm so honed in. I feel at home. I really do. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just in my blood, but I really feel at home. So that's that.
Hey, well, that's a good, easy feeling to have, when you're at ease in there. Because I know, a lot of people say they get nervous, and sometimes those nerves can get the best of you. But, if you have that easy feeling enter into it, that makes you a dangerous man, yo. Yeah. But
it's good to be nervous. If you're not nervous, you don't care.
True.
So I'd be lying if anybody that walks into the cage says, "Oh no, I'm not nervous." They're lying, right to your face.
Facts.
They're nervous.
Now, I guess that there's also definitely different styles of MMA, and some people, center themselves around a certain style. How would you describe your fighting style when you enter an octagon? Are you a jiu-jitsu guy, or you're a judo guy? What type of fighter are you? Would you say?
So if you've watched my last 4 fights, you're gonna be this kid only knows how to wrestle and do a little bit of jiu-jitsu. But it's been a whole year since my last fight because of the COVID pandemic, and I really took that time during COVID instead of, keep practicing the stuff I'm comfortable with and doing. My coach really brought me out of that. I was like, look, I need to strike because when I'm striking, I feel super uncomfortable. So if you watch this next fight, I feel like you're most likely going to see a lot of my striking.
Okay.
It's a new style that it just happened, I didn't try to fight a certain way. I was just sparring one day, and it all clicked. I was beating guys I normally don't.
Nice.
I was tagging people up, and I was like, this is my style. And, me and my coach, we built upon that.
So, like, when you talk about transitioning to that, how hard was that? And, like, what were the kind of the steps that you kind of had to take outside of just sparring to, become a better striker?
A lot of time. A lot of time and hours and, like, stuff that doesn't make sense. You're like, why am I doing this? Like, I feel like I'm going to get ripped, you know? But you keep doing it, and then, like, eventually, like, you're sparring and you see it. You're like, wow, like, I could hit him with a 1-2, like whatever the combination you're practicing. And I started kicking a lot. Kicking has made my punches a lot more comfortable, and that's weird. A lot of fighters are like, that's like what, but I started noticing I'm better with my kicks than I am my hands. So I started throwing a couple punch combinations into kick combinations, and then I'll throw a kick out there, and then I'll land more punches, and it just it all ties in together. You can't be predictable, and you can't be basic.
Facts.
In MMA. You really can't. And you have to constantly adapt.
And
mid-round.
Yeah, and I mean, we seen that with Connor just this past weekend. We got knocked out by Dustin. And you talk about how important those leg kicks are. I mean, Dustin destroyed his leg, and we saw that, with him not being able to check those, he pretty much was on wobbly legs after he got a couple of those shots. So can you kind of talk about, I know there's definitely different styles as far as checking kicks too. It's like, what is like your main way that you try to check a kick, and how important do you think it is to check those leg kicks?
It's very important, and a lot of people are like, oh, like Dustin, like Connor's done, he doesn't want to be there. I'm like, have you ever been kicked in your calf?
Yo, I can't tell you how many people like, oh, he doesn't care about fighting anymore, and like, yo.
And I guarantee you, every single gym, including the one I'm training at, we've been practicing those leg kicks before that even happened, but you get kicked in the calf hard, like, it really does throw you off. Like, your weight, your balance, everything's all over the place, and it's very hard to box when you have all that blood rushing through that leg, and you're limping. And I felt like as soon as Connor sat down after round 1, and he was already blasted with those leg kicks, he was done.
Yeah,
he was done right there. He sat down, and then he started to feel it.
Yeah,
And
I think you could see it too, because he didn't even want to sit down on the stool. He was standing up from all that pain. But I think that it's a good point to also talk about too. Like, when Dustin kind of, saw that he was on those wobbly legs, he went for the finish. Like, what do you look for in a fight to where you could see, like, this guy's almost done. Let me put him down. Like, what do you look for there?
For me, it's instincts. Right now, it's instincts. Like, my technique it still has miles to go. But even in sparring, I see certain things. I know when I hit somebody hard. I know, like, when I throw a punch and if I take some off of it, because it's my boy's sparring partner, I know that, like, oh shit, if I threw that, like,
you would have hurt that man.
I would have hurt him. So it's little things you see. Like, at first, I didn't see it for the first whole year of my training. Like, I've never, like, saw it. Now I'm starting to get comfortable with getting hit, comfortable with slipping, dodging, moving, and I see these things, and it's instinctual for me right now still. But those guys at Dustin Poirier's level, like, they know the damage that's done. Like, they know that, hey, if he takes 5 of those calf kicks, there's no way he's going to be able to box me like he used to. And that's what happened. Dustin, he had confidence in his game plan.
Yeah.
They created a blueprint, like, this is how we're going to beat Conor McGregor. And they did that, and they executed it flawlessly. And I'm a huge McGregor fan.
It was tough to see him in there, get beat, man. But, we know that Conor's nickname is notorious. Dustin Poirier is the Diamond. Where did nighttime kind of come for you here? Were you just putting guys to sleep?
This is a funny story. So, I was searching for a nickname. I'm like, I need a nickname, like Eric Nolan just, it's like boring. Like, no one's going to buy tickets to that.
Hey, let's go see Eric Nolan.
So my boy, they call him Nicky Nighttime.
Okay.
Nicky Nighttime, and we're out drinking in Seaside. I just got back from the Marine Corps. I just won my first fight. And,
dope.
Nicky Nighttime, he was like, he goes, what about Nighttime Nolan? And I was like, I was drunk as shit. And I was like, dude, that's sick. And then it just kind of, everybody started picking up on it and just rock with it.
Hey, I like that, man. Nighttime Nolan, bro. So, with a name like that, you're going to have to start putting people to sleep, man.
Yeah.
Now, out of those 4 fights, did you finish all of those fights? Did you finish any of those? Were they decisions?
So I have 2 first-round finishes by submission.
Okay.
My second and third fight. First fight went the distance, and my last fight I just had went the distance as well.
So I think that's definitely something to talk about too. Like, how is it to? Because I know a lot of fighters, they talk about, oh, he can't go 5 rounds, oh, he can't go 3 rounds, the fights can't go the distance. At what point in the fight do you kind of know that it's gonna go the distance, and like, how do you mentally prepare yourself to go the distance in a fight?
Well, the preparation for going the distance it's all through like training and sparring and like having I'm blessed to have the coach I have. Like, he don't care if you're going tired. He's gonna keep putting you in there, and then if you do shitty and you're looking like shit, he'll tell you, and that's what you need. I'm blessed. My first 4 fights, I had Kevin in my training camps, and when you have that training partner that is not going to let you give up, he's going to keep pushing you. It gets you ready for that. And it's also kind of a Marine Corps mindset. Like, I'm never going to quit during a fight. Like,
Facts.
I'm going out on my shield, So that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's in my blood. You just got to have it.
Hey,
you can't teach heart.
No.
It's like a big thing. You can't teach heart. You either got it or you don't. And when you have 2 kids like me and Kevin, like, we ain't stopping until we're dead.
Facts, man. Yo, and that goes a long way. They say the heart of a champion, and we can see that heart, beating right through you, man. So, it's definitely dope to see that, someone as passionate as you have for this MMA. But not only that, but a lot of times we see guys and they don't really necessarily fight for the right reasons, and their head might not be in the right place, to go into these fights. So, it's good to see that, you're in the right space and you're in the right place. And, a lot of times they talk about just how important it is to have the right team around you. So aside from, having Kevin, and having also those coaches, just how important is it to have that team around you to where, you are able to give your best into these fights?
I think it's the most underrated and the most important thing to have is the right coaches, the right training partners, the right people around you. There's this famous saying. It's "Show me your friends, I'll show you your future."
Oh,
and yeah. I like to relate that to fighting. Like, show me your team, and I'll show you your future. If you have a team that doesn't want to be there, I call them clout fighters.
Oh man,
you have a bunch of clout fighters in there. Like, that's not good. You need to get out of there ASAP.
Yeah.
I trained at Dante Rivera's gym in Freehold. Dante was in the UFC, so he knows what it's like to get there. My main coach, who found me in New Jersey, Ash, he's not training us to fight in a cage.
Yeah.
He's training us for real street. You're in the street and you need to defend yourself, defend your family. That's what he's training us for. And he puts an exclamation point on that.
Facts.
The cage is just the proof in the pudding, but through that, we started to get new guys like my boy Luke, who's fighting next month.
Okay.
Nick, both the Nicks that are fighting next month. We have Phil, Matt, and Nick Caracappa. They're all brothers.
Oh man.
They're in there and they're about it. It's their life. Their life has been a fight, just like me and Kevin's. And having them in that gym, having them push us every day, it's really big. It's the most important thing in fighting, I think.
Yeah, and I really like what you said there, where you show me your friends and I'll show you your future, because at the end of the day, they say you are a representation of who the people you have around you, man. So like I said, it's dope that you have this mentality and that we can both share the fact that we're from Edison, man. And I know a lot of people that kind of dismiss it and say, "Oh, I'm not from here," and I've kind of worn this as a shield, man. And even with this show highlighting different people from Edison, so just how much does being from Edison mean to you? Entering the fight game and just when you go out to different places.
Yeah, like I said, this was dropped on me last minute. Kevin was like, "Yo, I'm doing this podcast tonight. Like come with me. I want to bring another fighter. You're fighting still, whatever." And the selling point was he's from Edison. If you weren't from Edison, I'm not gonna lie. I was on my way to training when he called me up, and I was like, you know what? All right, cool. Whatever. Had plans. I was like, screw him. This is Edison. Edison helps. Yeah. Edison helps Edison. That's for sure.
And I think that's a huge point for people to understand, because you have to understand we're on live here, and I have, my friends, family, and on Instagram as well too. But the vast majority of the people that listen to and watch the show aren't from Edison. So to be able to, I constantly say it on these different episodes, just what it means to be from here and to highlight different people and to show the different type of support. Because without the support of my hometown and the place where I lay my head, I wouldn't have had, so many t-shirts. I wouldn't be able to have you on here or get to 10,000 downloads. So, being from Edison is something that, means a lot to me. And it's something that I try to convey to other people through here, just how important it is to be from here and to wear that on your sleeve. So, I just appreciate you for sharing that same mentality, man, because it's something that I take with me onto these episodes too, man.
It's something that, like, when I'm laying down at night, like before a fight, like, I always have these negative thoughts, like, what if I get knocked out in front of all my friends, family, people that support me, especially from Edison. It always comes back to, like, I was a nobody. But I was from Edison, so I knew that was something, and it just grew with me, and I'm gonna grow with Edison, and Edison's gonna grow with me. It's just how it works.
Hey, big facts, man. And with Eric, being here and representing the MMA, I asked it to Kevin. I was like, what's your favorite fighter? Who's somebody that influenced you? Is there someone in the UFC or any MMA fighters that have kind of influenced you, or that some of your favorites?
I am just like him, man. But Mike Tyson, even though he's not an MMA fighter, that Mike Tyson mentality, it's amazing. And UFC wise, I was never a fan. I never hopped on the bandwagon of Khabib.
What? You're not a fan of Khabib?
I wasn't.
Wow.
I wasn't. But I saw what he did. And I saw what he did with the sport. I saw what he did outside of the sport. That's what sold me. I wasn't a fan. I was a Conor McGregor fan, man.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let's go, like, fighting Irish, and then Khabib beat him, and I was like, all right, like, and I kept betting against Khabib.
Oh, man.
I kept doing it. I was I was like, nah, he ain't winning.
Yeah.
And then I saw all the great things he's doing for his country, and I kind of think, like, that's what I want to do with my talent at first, and then get bigger. So Khabib has been recently the biggest influence on me in fighting.
Well, that's big, man, because the Eagle, he's definitely a special fighter, and he's somebody that we're going to talk about for, many times to come, man, but it's those type of fighters, those generational fighters that we're blessed to, be able to see fight and have influenced the fight game, man. And, there's somebody, he's definitely somebody that, if he does step back in the octagon, I will be 100% tuned in, man. Just like when this guy Eric Nolan fights, man. So, before we, hop off here and go into the beer review, I just want to ask you, if there was something that, you could change, or anything that, kind of happened that you could kind of go back on and try and alter from your fight career, is there anything that you would change or anything different that you would do?
I wouldn't change a thing.
Ugh.
I would not change a thing. I mean, Kevin said it before, but you win or you learn. I'm blessed right now not to have a lesson handed to me yet.
Yeah.
It's never a loss. It's always a lesson. So I'm blessed right now. I'm staying focused. I'm staying surrounded by the same people that are going to get me to that next level I need to get. And I can't wait to give back to them and to everybody that supported me.
Hey, that's very commendable, because I think a lot of people, when they get to certain places, one of the things that they want to do is think about things that they could do and things that they could change. And, when you have that forward mentality, or you have that type of, that desire to continue to move forward and put things behind you, I mean, then there's no place but to go is up, man. So, I think you have a bright future, Eric. I'm very happy to have you here on the show and talking that talk, bro.
Thank you.
Nah, for real, man. This is a great episode. I mean, you have people that are saying, this is awesome. You have Kevin Kowarski, who's really enjoying himself here. But for those people out here, like I said, I'm continuing to try and find different ways to engage you guys, find different people that you want to have here on the show, and give you different perspective on what else is out there. I think that you know, a lot of times, especially here in this pandemic, we're so comfortable within our bubble and staying within doing the things that we want to do. So, you know, I think to your point of just getting out there and trying something different, you never know what, you know, passion that can lead to. And maybe you could be an MMA fighter like Eric, man. But, you know, the main thing is just finding something that you're passionate about and just taking that first step, because, you know, you can't get to the end of the road without getting on the road first. So, you know, once again, thank you so much for coming here on the show, Eric. One quick thing before we show, you know, you want to try this beer out with me? Is this beer review?
Let's do it.
You want to come back on here, Kev, for the beer review? All right, we'll slide on over. So this beer that we have here today, guys, this beer that we have here is a Peroni. For a lot of those people that don't know, Peroni is one of my favorites that's kind of comparable to a Stella. So for those people that don't know, you know, we're going to try it out here today. So we're going to have you're the MMA guys. You go out the can, you good to go. But,
thank you.
Yeah, man, I got my nice little mug here, but, you know, this is one of my favorite beers when I want to, you know, get something else that's not just domestic, or I don't want to be bougie, get with my IPAs and shit. Yeah, thank you, Mickey. Yeah, it's an Italian beer. So, you know, this is one of my favorites. You know, let's cheers it up for everybody else out there. Oh, listen, Kevin Rose says, great episode, man. Chris Shank, you can't get to the end of the road if you get on the road first. I like that shit. Hey, come on, man. Trademark it, baby. We talking that talk, dog. But, yeah, guys, thank you so much, everybody out there. Raise your drink, raise your glass, my boy. Over here, Eric Nolan and my boy, Kevin, Barry Coleman. Cheers up. And let's have some Peroni, guys.
Yep.
Peroni Nostro Azzurro.
That's good. Yeah.
Italiano.
That's good stuff, man.
That's good. Yeah.
Hey, so if you had to scale from 1 to 10, what would you give this, guys?
You know, second sip real quick.
Oh, second sip. Okay, second sip.
Hey, one
All
sip.
right.
Hey, one sip. Everybody knows. The rule.
One sip. Everybody knows the rule.
I never had this beer before, but I honestly like it a lot, man. I'm gonna give it a solid 8, honestly.
Ooh, okay, solid
I like that a lot,
8.
you know?
All right.
You know, then again though, I'm also Irish. I like anything. You know what I'm saying? You give me some skunk beer or anything like that, I'll drink it, man. I don't even care.
Hey, I'm the same way. When we used to fall asleep and I'd have warm beers, my friends would always make fun because I'd still be drinking the floor. It's like, yo, you fucking disgusting. Yeah. But yeah, Eric, what would you say, man, when you get this beer?
I mean, Kevin's a little nicer than me, so. But I'm gonna give it a 7. I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
All right. Yeah, Zach Dunsavage says Kevin's drunk already. He said he's drunk already.
It takes me a lot to get drunk now. Off beer, no. But you give me liquor, I can't handle my liquor too well.
Hey,
He's capping.
he's capping for the gram.
No, that tequila didn't get me, man. also, before the show started, you know, how your shot was like this big, bro?
Oh, bro, the shots were like this big. I was like, yo, I had to chase the shot with Corona. You know what I'm saying? Still finishing the chaser.
That's why, you know, like my brother said, he travels a lot, man. He can do all that, man. He likes the tequila, bro. He got back from Mexico not too long ago, so all he was drinking is tequila, bro. So,
hey, we're gonna have Mickey Coleman here on another episode for sure, man. But you know, in closing, I'll definitely give this beer a solid 8 as well too. You know, like I said, I love Stella. I love, you know, Corona, all those beers. But Peroni's just that nice, crisp difference for me, you know. But like I said, this is the Talk That Talk show. Thank you so much to everybody that's tuned in. We got to thank our sponsors before we head out of this show. Shout out to VW Liquors, located in Wick Plaza, Edison, New Jersey. Let's go, Mets! Let's go, Mets! Come on, man! Come on, yo! Yeah, come on, man.
Yo, our family's from Queens. My mom's side are from Queens.
Well, let's do it again. Let's do it again. We're gonna have
Let's go, Mets!
No.
Let's go, Mets! One more time.
Can't switch up on the.
We gotta stop it, otherwise Eric's gonna go MMA mode and start choking people out, man. You gotta chill.
that's like, you know, I don't follow baseball at all, you know, but like, like my family, my mom's from Queens, my grandma's from Queens. It's like I didn't follow baseball at all. But my grandma's a Mets fan. She's like, oh, you like the Mets? I was like, I don't really follow the Mets, but I'm a Mets fan.
Hey,
so,
there you go, Kev. See, I knew I liked Kev. I knew I liked this guy. Shout out to Air We Are, located in the South Side. Best air conditioning and heating needs that you need. Also want to give a shout out to 13 and a half Clothing Company. My boy Angelo's doing great things. Shout out to Skydive Socks. My boy Savion also doing incredible things in the custom game. 91s.com. They got the best acid wash apparel in the game. Ink Parlor, my boy Timmy Hugel. He's doing. Oh, it was your birthday. Shout out to my boy Timmy Hugel. One of the coolest bald dudes you'll ever meet. Here's what I tell you. I wouldn't have been able to do half the things that we've done as far as these OG releases without him. So, once again, thank you again to you, Timmy Hugel. Love you, brother. Happy birthday. And I still hate you for sweeping my team last week. I owe you one, bro. That's a bowling thing. He beat us bad, so I owe him one for that. Also, want to give a shout out to my boy over at Ink Parlor. Like I said, one more time for my boy Timmy Hugel. It's his birthday. Love him so much. Shout out to Joe Snow and Maria over at New York Life, helping people to get their financial freedom every single day. And like I said, this is the Talk That Talk show, guys.
Talk that talk!
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for each and every one of you guys tuning in. You guys are the reason why we made it to 10,000 downloads. And you're the reason why people like Eric Nolan and Barry Coleman are here to come on the show and give you guys a piece of them and show them what they're about, man. I have the best fans in the game, and you guys are the reason why we got the best podcast in the game.
Talk that talk!
Talk that talk! Talk that talk! Hey! I like that. I like that, man. Hey, it's not just a podcast, it's a movement. I'll see you guys next Friday. Love you all. Shout out once again to my boy Eric Nolan and Barry Coleman for coming on here and absolutely rocking the show. We're going to go drink. Maybe we'll have some drinks afterwards, all right? So find out. Stay tuned. You might see us around in the South Side. Love you guys.
Talk.